scheme and that's one theme and that's my whole life and that's one love, got one dream and that's one love, we got one scheme and that's one love, that's one theme and that's one love, my whole life. I said there's two of us, we got one dream and that's one love. Yeah, that's one love. Between the both of us, we got one scheme and that's one love. Yeah, that's one love. Our life together has one theme and that's one love. I said that's one love. I'd rather die than live my whole life without that one love. And you that one love. I said there's two of us, we got one dream and that's one love. Yeah, that's one love. Between the both of us, we got one scheme and that's one love. Yeah, that's one love. Our life together has one theme and that's one love. I said that's one love. I'd rather die than live my whole life without that one love. And you that one love. I got my head down, arms are up. I didn't think life would be this rough. Back and forth, we went do-si-do, and then I packed my bags and I hit the road. We were making moves without a clue. I took my love away from you. Looking back, all regret. My chin is up and you puffed your chest. Cause we coming for the go, girl, we won't stop. Working and we grinding till we hit the top. Everyone is waiting for the love that we are chasing, and the haters will be hating, but we won't stop. Cause we running and we gunning. So watch out, cause we coming. One love, we in our feelings, and it's not gonna crumble, yeah. We got one dream and that's we got one scheme and that's one theme and that's my whole life and that's one love, got one dream and that's one love, we got one scheme and that's one love, that's one theme and that's one love, my whole life. I said there's two of us, we got one dream and that's one love.
The sun is shining, the birds are chirping, the bacon is sizzling. Welcome to the Daily Swole.
Testing, 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 test, 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 testing, 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 testicles, testing, 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 testicles, testicles, testicles. Welcome everyone to episode 1175 of the Daily Mother Swole, the most muscular swolecast, beardcast, broadcast, gaincast, mancast, pimpcast, sleazecast, and slaycast in the realm. Because when I flex, you flex, we all flex our biceps. What's going on, beaches, busters, hustlers, and hoes? Thank you for joining me for an evening swolecast. Of course, depending on where you're watching from, maybe it's a morning swolecast. If you're listening, maybe it's an afternoon swolecast. But right now, it is the evening where Papa Swolio is rolling. So that's all that matters. But all that matters is that we're here. We are here and we're live on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Periscope, and Twitch. And of course, you can subscribe to the audio podcast. We got little Papa Swolio in the corner if you can catch her down there. She just walked, she pooped, which is a good thing. I mean, she got it done. I had to walk it a little bit extra. She's afraid of wet grass. She doesn't like wet grass. If it rains, it's a whole fucking issue because she doesn't want to step and fucking walk on the grass. Why? Get on the grass, take a shit, and so I can get the show done. I mean, for goodness sake. What's up, Carlos? You got to come on the show, bro. Send me a message. Text me. Don't DM me. I get too many DMs. But I've been meaning to message you, but shit gets lost. So I hope everything's going well. You guys probably remember Carlos. He's been on the show a couple times, so we got to get back on here. Anyway, so if you didn't catch yesterday's episode, how many of you listened in to Rachel Ost's podcast yesterday? Yesterday was 1174, and it was great. It was awesome. So there's a lot of great messages in there. And a lot of great just insights from the other side of the world and just from someone with great a breadth of experience. So definitely make sure you check out 1174. What up, DP? We got a special guest tomorrow. Tomorrow, a lot of you listen to his music. Let me make this announcement now. That way you can, now that you got your attention, in case you need to leave and go do stuff, tomorrow we're going to have King Darius on. So for those of you that listen to the intro music, that hear every fucking outro track on my YouTube channel, he is going to be on the podcast tomorrow. So we've been talking about it for a while and things come up and he's really busy and I'm busy and stuff like that. So I'm putting it out there. That way it's going to happen tomorrow. So tomorrow, I'm not exactly sure what time, but I will be posting about it. I'll be talking about it on my Instagram story. So if you are going to, if you're going to want to be here live, which I highly recommend, we're going to talk some serious shop and we're going to smash tomorrow. So make sure you keep an eye on my Instagram story. I'll tell you when we're going live and I'll announce it as soon as I can. I'll probably send out an email blast and I'll send out a messenger blast and stuff like that for those of you that are part of the network, part of the Swole fam. So a lot of you love his music and I highly recommend checking out King Darius 1 over on YouTube. But I have the links in all my post descriptions and stuff like that on YouTube. So I guess it's King Darius I on YouTube because it's King Darius 1, but you can find his shit. So yeah, there you go, bro. There you go. Tomorrow, my man. Tomorrow. DP is KD. DP is KD. Just so you know. What's going on? Jocelyn Grace. Hello from Jacksonville, Florida. First time seeing you on live. Well, hopefully it's not your last. We're just getting started here. We're just getting started. Yeah, tomorrow I'm thinking it's going to be, what time we doing it, DP? I think it's probably going to be early afternoon, something like that. It's Friday. It's Friday afternoon. It's probably going to be something like and it's not going to be evening. It'll probably be something around noonish, early afternoon, maybe 1, 2 o'clock, just ballparking it. So again, remember, if you follow on Instagram, you watch live, you're not going to be able to see it because it's going to be a Skype interview. We're going to be smashing the visual smash. So make sure you tune in. So thank you, everyone. That's first timers. If it's your first time catching the podcast, the Slamcast, the Gamecast, the Mancast, pinch your nips, touch your taint a little bit. Let's get into it. Let's get into the fucking sleeves. So I had a great leg workout today. I'm super stoked. A lot of you that have been following, if it's your first time, you don't necessarily know what I've been up to. So I'm just gonna give you a little bit of update. I traveled like a week and a half, 2 ago, and I took a few days off from training. So now I've kind of gotten back into it. I've gotten back into my flow. And lately I've been doing a 3 to 4 day split with mobility work and yoga and such. So I've been doing anything from a chest and back workout, chest and back, legs, and then arms, day off, yoga and stuff, and then repeat. So, and we've talked many times before, when you increase your frequency, when you're doing body parts multiple times a week, you're going to adjust the volume. You're not going to do as much. And lately I've been enjoying doing more frequency and less volume because the volume fucks shit up. And let me set the stage here because volume is great. Volume and failure and all that stuff is great for building muscle. It's great for building mass. However, if you're doing once a week, the volume you have to put on your body, once you get more advanced, once you get really into your training a little bit more, once you get into it and you need that kind of overload, the amount of volume that you need to do if you're training once a week is murderous. And you're getting so fucking sore. So imagine if you're doing, and this is what people classically call a bro split. So if you're doing chest on a Monday, back on a Tuesday, legs on a Wednesday, whatever it is, you're doing a 5 or 6 day, spread out like that. That's not how I like to train. But if you're doing that, you're doing a ton of fucking overload. You are crushing yourself. And in order to get the amount of volume that you would require or that you should be putting on yourself for once a week, how are you going to feel the rest of the days? So that's what no one really talks about enough. We talk about, okay, well, if it's once a week, you have to do more volume. If it's twice a week, you do less volume, but you're doing it more frequently. But think about one of the reasons why I don't personally like one of those classic bro splits. I don't like the phrase bro split because they work. 1 day a week works. It really fucking works. Okay? 1 day a week works. It really does. But it might not be the most efficient or it might not be absolutely right for you. So why does it work? Well, you're fucking overloading once a week. You're overloading. Progressive overload. Overloading is how you build muscle. You provide a stress, an external force, and your body has to produce internal tension and overcome it with different angles, different time under tension. There's so many different ways to provide progressive overload. So thinking that you just have to increase the weight or that you just have to do more sets, that's not necessarily true. You could add more time under tension. You could do isometrics, partial reps, negatives. There's all different ways that you can add that kind of overload. So it doesn't have to be just, how many reps did you do? How many sets did you do? There's other components of the kind of overload that you're putting yourself on. So as long as it's progressive and you're increasing that overload, you can get amazing benefits. And the great thing about bodybuilding and building muscle is that there are many different ways to go about it. So what no one really talks about enough, in my opinion, is that when you do once a week, let's say you're doing 30 sets of chest, okay? If you're doing 30 sets of chest, just throwing that out there, if you're doing that, think of how your chest is going to feel on, let's say you're doing it on Monday. How is it going to feel on Tuesday? How is it going to feel on Wednesday? How is it going to feel on Thursday? You are going to fuck your shit up so bad. In order to provide that kind of overload, you are doing so much damage, micro trauma, which is what is caused by providing that overload by doing a chest day, that on Tuesday, if you know when you work your chest hard, you're sore, and then it's going to affect your upper body movements for the next day. Now, the pectoralis major does internal rotation as well, and so does the lats. So does the latissimus dorsi. It provides internal rotation of the humerus. So you're actually working similar actions, and when you're doing your chest, if you're providing internal rotation, you're actually getting a little bit of that shortening aspect from the lats as well. And it doesn't mean that you are working your lats during a bench press. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is you're overloading your upper body. When you're doing chest, you're working your triceps some, which means you're working the long head of your triceps, which also works when you're doing back exercises. So you're fatiguing yourself, and you're also creating a lot of trauma on the front part of your body with that type of movement forward. So any kind of upper body movement that you do the next day, depending on what your split is, maybe you do legs the next day, but if you're causing enough overload, you're going to be really fucking sore for the next few days. I mean, if you train properly and you're natural, you're not taking any kind of enhancement, you're not taking anabolics of any sense, because if you take anabolics, you're going to recover faster. So you're not going to feel as sore. Your body is going to repair faster, which is why you see back in the day, Arnold used to do, you chest and back 3 days a fucking week. Well, when you're taking that much shit, you're going to recover faster. So you're going to be able to get more volume in a shorter period of time, put on more muscle mass and so forth, as long as you're sleeping well and eating right and all that kind of stuff. But it's really interesting when you think about it in that sense. When you think about what it's doing to your other body parts, and you can comment below because I'm interested to hear what your opinion is. When I do, let's say, a hard back workout, it's going to affect your leg day if you do legs before or vice versa. If your legs, let's say you do legs first, you do legs on a Monday, and then all of a sudden on Tuesday, you're going to do back, or Wednesday, you do back. How are you going to do fucking bent over barbell rows? If you train your legs hard enough, you don't want to stand. You don't want to get off the fucking toilet. It hurts sitting down. You just have a lot of pain and all that tightness and inflammation. Your body's going to guard a lot, and it's going to affect your movements for the other days. I don't care if you're sleeping well. I don't care if you're hydrating, eating properly. I don't care if you're foam rolling. Micro trauma is micro trauma. Just because you foam roll doesn't mean all of a sudden your body we just fucking put everything back together faster. It might aid in facilitating fluids getting through the soft tissue, but it's not fucking magic. It's not magic. It's not like you're Harry Potter and all of a sudden you wave your wand and you're better because you rolled on a pipe. That's not how it fucking works. That's what she said, by the way. So after leg day, what happens? Nothing happens after leg day. You're fucking crippled if you do it properly. And if that's once a week, it's going to affect other aspects of your training. So you can think about this in terms of upper body, whether it's chest, whether it's back, and you can play around with different splits. However, it seems like a catch-22. You might be able to focus more attention on a specific body part. However, the overload you're going to have to provide for a 7-day period, you're going to do so much damage that you might do too much, and it might affect other types of training sessions. Okay. So if you do chest, it's going to affect your back. If you're really sore in your chest and you're laying on a bench or you're pulling backwards, you have this tight, broken down muscle tissue on the front, and you're pulling and you're trying to retract. You're trying to externally rotate you're moving your body in the opposite direction. So that kind of tension is going to lock up that movement. And whenever you have kind of soreness, whenever you have micro trauma and parts of your body that are trying to repair, it's going to inhibit and it's going to change and alter the way that you move. And that's going to affect other body parts. So you might be compensating. You might be standing a little bit differently. You might be leaning a little bit differently. And that could depending on the person, depending on what you're doing. This is just, I'm throwing these ideas out there. These are possibilities. It could kind of make you or guide you towards an improper position with an exercise, because if your legs are sore, if your legs are fucked and you're trying to do a barbell row you might lean forward a little bit more because it hurts your legs to bend too much. You might not sit back as much, and that could put your lower back at risk. And if you have these muscles that are supposed to stabilize and be your base and they're fatigued already, it's going to affect the efficacy of your training. So a hard leg day is going to affect your back day, and it's going to affect X, Y, and Z. Okay. So when you do, or for example, what I'm doing, and I'm not really strict with it. For example, if I do 3 days and I have a day off from resistance training, and let's say something comes up and I take 2 days off, I don't care that it's going to be an 8-day split. It doesn't matter. What I'm saying is that for me, I get my resistance training accomplished within 3 days. So for me, there are 2 really primary ways which I will prefer to do this. And this is relating to the title of this episode, The Perfect Plan, Chasing Perfection. And what is the perfect training program? What is the perfect diet? And I think a lot of you know the answer, or why I prefaced this episode with the word perfect, because that's very subjective, and everyone's looking for something perfect. Everyone's looking for something optimal, but you're not going to find what that is unless you put the time in, unless you figure that out. So perfect for me is not necessarily what's perfect for you. So the 2 options that I would do for a 3-day split would be chest and back. Let's use a week. Let's use day 1 or Monday. Let's say chest and back. And then on Tuesday, you could do legs. And then on Wednesday, day 3, you could do shoulders and biceps and triceps. You could do it that way. There's one way. You could also do chest and back on a Monday. You could do arms on Tuesday, but doing consecutive upper body days, that's maybe for really advanced people. You're not really going to get the most effectiveness, because when you're using your upper body, when you're doing chest and back, you're hitting arms, you're getting a lot of grip work. So it's not really the best way to do it. So let's say you did upper body, let's do upper, lower, and then upper. So you did chest and back, legs, and then arms. Okay, that's one way to do it. And then you take a day off, you do recovery, 1 or 2 days off, and then you repeat. You could also do a classic, and this is a couple of different ways. You could do chest and triceps on a Monday. And with that chest and triceps, you could do throw in a little bit of anterior deltoid. You could throw in a little bit of some lateral, some shoulder work, because shoulders can get a little bit more volume because they're always working. So you can actually get a little bit more volume or some high repetitions. You can kind of coat over and hit a little bit more of the anterior deltoid on that chest and triceps day. So you can kind of break up your shoulder training. So this is one option. And then let's say on Tuesday, for example, you did legs. And then on Wednesday, you did back and biceps, and then posterior deltoid, and then more of your middle deltoid. So you do the other portion of your shoulder. You kind of fill in the gaps there. You can also leave shoulders out of the equation, do chest and triceps. You don't do any focused shoulder exercises on the chest or the back day, and you throw shoulders in on the leg day. However, if you're doing leg day and you're splitting up the upper body, it's going to affect your back workout the next day. So the best option for that might be moving legs towards Wednesday, for example, day 3, and doing shoulders there. So anything that, if your shoulders, you may be more high reps and you just kind of throw that in, but some people don't like doing shoulders with a leg workout. I'm not necessarily a huge fan, but that's another option. So it's another option for you to do. And here's the kicker with all that. There's no rule saying that you have to do a 3-day split. You can do a 3 days, you could do a 4-day split. You could do a 3-day split. And if something comes up or you don't have as much time, you can add on a 4th day. Like if you go over and you go after, and this is why I like to use the phrases and the terms day 1, day 2, day 3, rather than Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, because if you have, for example, if you have a schedule that is different and specific to Monday through Friday, I understand, but it's better to think of 7 days a week as your option. You have the option for 7 days a week. 7 days a week is your oyster. 7 days a week is your ability to train. Don't worry about the 5 days. You should leave every day open. So if you have to take another day off, that's fine. You take another fucking day off. So what? You'll come back to it. Your life is a rolling number. We talked about this yesterday with caloric intake. If you're short on your calories today, it doesn't mean that at midnight, all of a sudden your calories reset and the clock goes back to 0. It's continuing, right? If you're eating food at 12:30 right after midnight, it still counts. It's not, your body doesn't know the difference. It's a rolling number. It's a rolling count. So you can customize a little bit more. Don't restrict yourself to a Monday through Friday. Don't restrict yourself to 7 days. Think about how arbitrary that is. This is one thing I don't like about the calendar, is that it makes it seem like every Monday is the start of it again. Not really. Think of it in your life. Let's say today is day 10,000 or 40,212. Well, the next week is going to be 40,300, if I remember the number, 19. It's going to be another day. It's not the same old Monday. It's not a restart. It's the next day. So maybe you have a 9-day rotation. Because for me, doing 3 days hard and then taking a day off and then going right back to, I might still be sore. I did arms on Wednesday. So I'm all of a sudden going to go back to doing chest and back on Friday. Like my arms might still be fucking sore. So maybe it's 2 days off. Maybe it's an 8-day cycle. Maybe it's a 9-day cycle. People get really fucking anxious and get really neurotic about, oh, what day they do it. It's Monday, it has to be chest day. Or Wednesday, oh, I don't like doing legs on Saturday. I'm so used to doing legs on a Wednesday and a Friday. You know, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what the name of the day is. The sun is up, you're awake, you're going to the gym, fucking do it. So I kind of like to give it a 7 to a 9-day split. It doesn't matter. You take one extra day off, do some more yoga. I'd rather take another day off, feel fucking amazing, and come back and crush it. And you're still getting more volume. You're still getting more volume than you if you only did it once a week, because you're essentially hitting the same muscles within, let's say, instead of you're hitting the same muscles twice within, let's say it's a 5-day. You're hitting them. So if you did 3 and then 1 and then 3, you're going to have to take a day off after that second 3. So Monday is going to be a day off again. Okay. And then you're going to start on Tuesday, which might make you fucking kind of like, oh my God. So it might be a 5-day split where you take 2 days off, 1, 2, 3, 2 days of active recovery, 1, 2, 3, 2 days of active recovery, or you do something like Monday and Tuesday. You do Monday and Tuesday, then you take a day off, hit another workout on Thursday. It could be like that. You could do chest and triceps and then back and biceps, take a day off, and then do legs, and then do chest and triceps, take a day off, do back and biceps. You can stagger it. You can mix it up a little bit. I just think it's better off for most people to do body parts more than once a week. Whether it's within 4 days or 5 days or 6 days, I think it's better to increase the frequency of the training and decrease the volume. It also makes your workouts shorter. I don't know about you, but I want to get in and get the fuck out. I want to get in. I got shit to do. I got to do the podcast. Some of these interviews we're doing are like 2-3 fucking hours, which is great, but there's only so much time in the day. And if you think about what you need to do to grow and to develop and to lose weight and to recover, the recovery is everything. So if you're in the gym for 2 hours, that might be a half an hour extra where you can meal prep. You can lose a lot of time checking your phone, resting, talking to people, doing extra bullshit that you don't need to do. And it's nice to go into the gym and focus. And here's the thing. And I literally, this is from personal experience. If I go to the gym and I go on Monday, let's say I'm doing a classic, that quote, bro split. I'm doing chest on Monday. What if I have a bad workout? Oh, like I'm just not going to hit chest again until the next Monday. You miss one day. Let's say you get sick or something happens. You get a flat tire. You can't make it to the gym. And then all of a sudden, every single workout gets pushed back another day. And then it just fucks up your whole rotation because it's too large. It's too spread out. So one thing pushes everything else and it has much more of a ripple effect. And then some of these workouts, maybe you're not getting it. You're only getting it once within 8 days or 9 days. So it puts you at a much higher risk position when you skip a workout if you're doing such a large split. Not to mention you can get way too much overload and affect other body parts and other training mechanisms. So I do think that doing or planning to do twice a week is optimal, because then if you miss a day, let's say you're doing chest and back or chest and triceps, then you're doing back and biceps and then legs, day off. What happens if, let's say something happens on Tuesday. So then you have to do back and biceps on Wednesday and then legs on Thursday. Okay, you take Friday off, you start again Saturday. You're still getting only one day. It took you had more recovery. And we all know what recovery does. Recovery makes you fucking heal. If anything, you're going to be better off for taking an extra day. So you might like a 5-day split. You might like doing an extra day or doing chest, take a day off, back, legs, day off, right? You could do a 4-day split, but do all your resistance training within 3 days. So I think that you can do it a bunch of different ways, obviously. But the point is there's no perfect program. There's no perfect approach. It's what you can stick to. It's what inspires you. For me, if I think I have to go to the gym and crush chest for just 2 fucking hours, it's not inspiring to me anymore. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that much overload in one session. I don't want to be there for that long. I don't want to focus only on one thing. I like to do more shorter rest. I like to have more dynamics in there. I'd like to get more done. So doing chest and triceps or back or chest and back, it accomplishes a lot more. And to know that I have another session coming up in just a few days, I can do a couple things. I can focus on just a few exercises. So I could do 3 exercises. Let's say I'll do incline bench, and then I'll do, let's say, crossovers and chest dips. I don't have to do every exercise known to man, because in the next workout, I can do a couple other accessory moves and maybe a little bit more, maybe some more cable stuff, or maybe some more fly movements, some more isolation, rather than just do like heavy benching. Maybe one chest day of that week is just some compound movements. And the next one, I add some more fancy stuff, quote unquote, like pinch presses or crossovers or something along those lines. Maybe a higher rep day, you do a lower rep and more overload, higher intensity. And then the next day you do lighter weight and higher repetition. So that can work too. That's enough variety. It's plenty. And you can repeat that fucking over and over again. Just think, you're training that muscle, you're hitting it twice in a 4, 5, or 6 or 7, 8 day cycle period rather than once. So you can actually get more volume if you split it up with more frequency. If you train the body parts twice a week, you can actually get more volume overall. So rather than doing 30 sets in one session, you could do, let's say, 20 and 20, which is still a lot, but I'm just putting it into perspective, because 20 at one time might not be too much, but then the next session you're doing 20, you're getting 40 overall. Or whether it's 16, now you're getting 32. You see what I'm saying? So it's much more, it's better for me now. And I think a lot more people should be thinking about that, because if you follow, let's say, professional bodybuilder splits, remember, they're taking a lot of exogenous hormones, they're recovering a lot faster. And when you have a lot more experience, you have a lot more options, because your body can handle more overload. It can handle more stress. It can handle more just pounding. But now when if I think about just doing chest or just doing back, legs is different, because legs, I mean, okay, so you have the glutes, you have the quads, you have the hamstrings. But when you do leg workout, you want to crush squats, maybe you want to do deadlifts, maybe you want to do RDLs. But what about glute isolation? What about doing heavy hip bridges? It can become a large fucking workout. And we all know that if you crush legs, blast it for a week, and you crush yourself, you're going to be fucking in a wheelchair. And again, it's going to affect everything else. So one week or one day or one day could be squats. Like today, for example. I'll give you, this is kind of how I work it. So today I went heavy with squats, and then I did some RDLs and I did some leg curls, and I actually did some extensions. I don't normally do it, but I changed my angle because it feels better on my legs and stuff, and got a really good pump. Great. The next workout, I'm not going to necessarily do heavy squats again. I might do high rep squats. I might do a different type of squat. I might do walking lunges. I might do heavy hip bridges. I might do more glute isolation and hip hinge work. So I'll do it twice in a week, but I'll hit other styles. And it's not that overloading. I mean, imagine fucking working and doing 10 different exercises, because there's a lot of stuff to do, and there are a lot of different angles you can hit. There's a lot of variety you can add, but it's not supposed to be done all in one workout. And when you're doing it once a week, you're kind of, back up against the wall. You have to get a lot accomplished, and you're not going to see that body part again for at least 7 days. It's too much. It's too much. It's too much pressure to stay to your schedule. It's too much pressure, and there's too much of an avalanche and a domino effect. When you miss one day, it just pushes everything back. It's just not necessary. It's just not necessary. You can focus on specific exercises, go in, crush it, shorter period of time, and you can add some more variety in your training in that week. And I'm not saying just do random shit, but you can do a heavy chest day and a light chest day. Light meaning higher reps. You're still pushing, but you could do different exercises. You could do different styles. Have one be your compound day. Have one be your accessory isolation day, and play around with it like that. So there's many different ways to do it. And when you have those two different options where you're doing chest and back, legs and arms with shoulders, and you're doing chest and triceps, back and biceps, splitting up the shoulders on those days, and then legs, you have a lot of variety right there. And you could even split it up in different ways. You could do chest and back the first part of your cycle. Let's say you're doing it within a 7-day period. You could do chest and back, then legs, and then arms. The next time you go through it, you could do chest and triceps, and then back and biceps, and then legs. Like you can even do in one 7-day period, or one 8-day period, or 9-day period. Yeah, Papa Swole was chilling. Sure. Hey, mama. Mama. Yeah, good girl. Yeah, she's chilling. She's hungry, though. You hungies? Yeah, she's hungry. She's going to start freaking out if I keep on talking about food. I'm hungry, too, but I want to go in the sauna before I eat. Today got pushed back a little bit later. I was up late last night. Anyway, so you can customize these things. This is what you want. This is the type of thing that separates people that get results from people that don't get results. If you are investing your time and you're looking for an optimal program, you got to create it yourself. Take what you're learning, start with the program. Those of you that are in Swolenormous X, we have all these scheduled breakdowns along with the workouts that you can take. 90-Day Dash, my program inside Swolenormous X, the main program, that's one of that creates that foundation. It gets you up with that frequency, but then allows you to expand and progress. If you're a beginner, you can start with push, pull, upper, lower, total body workouts. That's fine, but you're going to adapt to that really quick. You're not going to do full body the rest of your fucking life. You're not going to do full body the rest of your life. A lot of people think, oh, I do total body 3 days a week or 4 days a week. You're leaving gains on the table. Depends on what you want. It's better to provide more overload. And unless you want to be in the gym forever, for me, I never like doing total body exercises. Total body workouts. I never like trying to get everything done in one workout. If I do anything that's total body, it's something like deadlifts and even legs, squats and shit like that. RDLs, you're using so much of your upper body. It's so integrated. It's never really just legs. Anyone that trains legs really hard, you know, it's not just a leg day. You're fucking holding the weights. You're packing your shoulders back. You're engaging your entire fucking core. I mean, you have hundreds of pounds on your fucking spine. You're telling me that's a leg workout? Give me a break. It's everything. So you're always kind of working everything. It's just more reps, more exposure. And if you're exposing your body to these elements more, you can stimulate more growth. And it gives you that capacity because you can give more effort in a shorter, concerted period of time, and that you don't have to worry about such drastic soreness. But you can still get that volume over the course of that 7 or 8 or 9 day period and get the volume, the progressive overload that you need to grow. So I think it's a lot less stressful. It's more versatile. And it's better to maintain for the long term, especially for natural lifters, especially for people that are not looking to step on stage. They're looking to make some gains, lose fat, build muscle, all that good shit. I think that's important. So, I mean, any shorter periods in the gym, what does it do? It gives you more time outside the gym. It gives you more time to cook, to sleep, to take a shit, whatever. Effini Munoz. Hey, Papa, I've had many youngsters come up to me and never heard of deload. No shit. Then they wonder why they are hurting Then they're wondering why they're hurting when they've been hitting it hard at the gym. Well, hitting it hard in the gym too is also relative. A lot of people think they're hitting it hard in the gym and they're really just fucking slacking. Most people aren't training hard. Straight up. Most people aren't training hard enough. So when you message me and you're like, oh my God, what should I do? How do I make gains? I train 6 days a week. I don't give a shit if you train 9 days a week or 10 days a week, 10 times a week. I don't care how much you train. It matters what you're doing in that training. You can train 5 days a week and get no results. Why? Because you're not training hard. You're not eating right. You're not sleeping right. You're training like a little bitch. That's why you're not getting progress. I made my progress by fucking progressively destroying myself on a regular basis. And it takes years. It takes a lot of time. Anyone that's getting amazing gains when they're 18, 19, 20, 21 years old, you're taking some shit. You're not shredded and pumped when you're that fucking young if you're not taking extra shit. And it doesn't have to be just testosterone. There are hundreds of different compounds that you can take that aren't going to show up on blood tests, that aren't going to register. So all this bullshit, it's like, do what you want, but don't kid yourself when someone tells you that they're natural when they obviously aren't. And a lot of you might not realize that because you're not in the industry. You don't really know what's possible. But when you've trained for 20 years and you learn how to build muscle and you just see it over and over again, it stands out. That's why you got a lot of channels that are calling out fake naturals because it's bullshit. People lie. People lie because it sells products. Let's see. Getting some swole at work. What up, Joseph? What up? What if you never have a program? I kind of keep a split, but never have an actual program I follow. Well, then you're probably not progressively overloading enough. If you're not actually structuring something and having direction, then you're kind of just swimming. You're doing exercise. You're fatiguing. You don't really know where you're not going to remember. You're not going to remember where you came from. You're not going to remember where you're going. You don't have any specific tactile things. So, I mean, if you're okay just going to the gym and lifting, it's like you don't know if you're making progress if you're not tracking it. Weren't you a member of X, brother? You have all the programs there. It's all there. I'm not sure what you were looking at if you're in there. What you doing? What's up, Thomas? Just wanted to say hello from Ireland. Thank you, bro. Thank you. From Ireland. I like your cheese. Kerry Gold Butter. People who train hard at my gym scare the rest. Oh, well, you obviously don't train is that a Planet Fitness? You can't lift heavy at Planet Fitness. You're going to scare people. You're going to scare the weak fatties, the people that don't really want to work hard. Fuck that gym. If you go to Planet Fitness, I know it's cheap, but it's cheap for a reason because people don't go. They have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful business plan. Let's make a gym where we encourage people to stay fat, charge them next to nothing so they forget about it and never cancel. Done. Done. Planet Fitness business plan. Success. How can you be a part of a company like that? It's okay if you go. I understand if you're paying $10 a month and like shit, if I had one right down the street, maybe I would go. Just kidding, I wouldn't. But let's say that's all you can afford, so you go there. Okay, what about when you're an executive, when you're part of a company that knowingly doesn't really give a shit if you fucking see results? How can you be a part of something that is just not providing any real value to your community? I got asked to leave Planet and UFit. I've been to a UFit once. It looked like a Planet Fitness. I don't know really what UFit's all about. I would never go to either of those gyms. I don't know. I understand some of you, it's like, all right, it's affordable, it's close by. And some of you live in areas where you don't have a lot of access to things. So I get it. But fuck that shit. You can't have gym bags on the floor. Fuck you. Fuck you. Get the fuck out of here. The fuck out of here. Well, that's the difference, Joseph. Some people think that they train hard simply because they sweat. The problem with just because you sweat means, kind of, I said this before on podcasts, I can sweat if I go out to the golf course and drag a bag of bricks around for 8 hours. I'll be sweaty. I'll be exhausted. I'll be sore the next day. But am I going to get results? Are my tactics actually providing focused overload that's going to create adaptations? It's going to force my body to adapt. Probably not. Probably not. I'm just dragging a bunch of bricks. I'll tell you what, if I go out there and drag bricks every day, I'm going to get better at what? Dragging bricks. It's kind of like CrossFit or these group exercise classes that are really CrossFit, but that just don't want to pay the fees to call themselves CrossFit. They're just random exercise. So you go there, you meet your friends. It's cool. You put some music on. It's a box and it looks all cool. The garage door is open and all that shit. But then you just do random exercise. You do random shit. You throw weights around. You're exhausted. Things for time, reps for time. You do a bunch of cleans and go run for a mile and you come back and do a bunch of fucking bullshit pull-ups. You're going to be exhausted. You might lose weight. You might build some muscle. You might fucking hurt yourself. But what it's not going to do is not going to progressively overload you safely and effectively in more of a linear pattern. It's just random shit. Exercise and fatigue is not the same as progressive overload. It's not the same as bodybuilding. And I really do think if you're trying to be healthy and you're the average person, which we all are, I'm the average person. I'm one of you. I'm one of you that literally just fucking fell in love with fitness and put all my time, effort, and career and stuff into training and experiencing it. So I have formal education, of course, but I also have 20 years of experience of fucking throwing steel around in the gym. I've gained weight, I've lost, I've cut, I've dabbled in so many things and I've tried so many things. So I can speak on a lot of different type of training splits because I fucking done them. And I know that it's possible. And I know what's possible. So I get pissed off when people knock bro splits or they say you have to do total body. I'm like, fuck you, you don't. Why? Because I know I've done it and it works and it works fine. It works phenomenally well. However, if you don't have a lot of experience and you're in your 40s or 50s, doing one body part a day is not the best way to go. So it's all context. Same thing with nutrition. There's no fucking perfect. There's no perfect diet. There's no perfect training program. What's perfect for you? There is no perfect for you. There might be more optimal. You're going to practice and hopefully get better. You're going to practice and hopefully find something that works best for you, at least in the moment, because in 3 years, what got you to this point is not what's going to get you to the next point. Just like my content, this podcast, what got me to 1175 episodes is not necessarily going to get me to 3,000 episodes. I could do the same old shit and never adjust, but then I upgrade my equipment. A lot of you are talking about the camera and the sharpness. Yeah, I upgraded my shit and I bought better stuff and I invest back in what I'm doing because I'm taking this to the next level. We're doing a lot of interviews, doing a lot of stuff, and we're upping it. We're taking it up a notch, and I will continue to do so. But you have to do that if you want growth. And if you want to get better, you have to push yourself to be better. You have to put yourself out there for it. Half man, half amazing on Instagram. Everything works as long as your consistency is relentless. Well, hopefully. You definitely need consistency, but how do you get consistency is the question. How do you get more consistent? By doing something that you can be consistent with. A lot of training programs, if it's a lot of overload, a lot of just crazy randomness, and it's a lot of intensity without a lot of attention on form, and it's super high volume, you are putting yourself at high risk for getting injured. And if you get injured, guess what? You have to recover. That's not consistency. That's trying to get back to where you were. And maybe you never do, because some of these injuries can be really, really taxing and really, really stressful. I agree. Awaken the wolf, fat loss. People get too hung up on pieces of paper that say you have knowledge. True and false. Just because you have a degree or you have certification, that doesn't mean you know what you're talking about. I mean, it doesn't mean that you don't know. It just might mean you can't convey that information. And also, it doesn't mean if you don't have one of those pieces of paper, especially with the internet, doesn't mean you can't acquire that knowledge. But having knowledge and being able to sling facts, a lot of the questions that you all submit on Instagram, or not necessarily you, but people that do, you can tell you're reading, you're watching a YouTube video, you hear a phrase and you ask a question and you think that's important just because you heard it. You're regurgitating shit. You're just regurgitating shit. You're just spitting it back out. You've heard it somewhere and then you go and say it. But you don't really understand the concepts. That's why I can do thousands of podcasts, because I understand the concepts from experience and from application with myself and with thousands of others and clients and members and so forth. It's understanding the concepts. Most people acquire a little knowledge. They hear a catchphrase or a buzzword and they spit it back out and act like they fucking know. They read a couple of headlines and pretend like they have fucking credibility. No, you read a blog, you read an article, you read a title, and you read someone's opinion on a research study, and now you're slinging it back. You heard some guy at GNC tell you about it, and now you're just fucking spitting it out online. So most people don't understand concepts, period, let alone in fitness and nutrition. Is it possible to build a horse cardio? A horse cardio? I have no idea what you're talking about, Mohammed. You're building a horse's cardio, or to build cardio like a horse? Either question, I have no fucking idea. What kind of a question is that, is the first question I have. My question is, what the fuck kind of a question is that? Nick, people at work ask me how much I weigh and how many calories I eat, and I tell them I don't know. I just work out and eat the right shit. And that depends on your goals. If you have really tactical goals and you need to lose X amount of weight, yeah, you got to be in a caloric deficit, but you should also be eating the right foods. And you know how much, I don't even know how much I weigh because I don't give a shit. But when I tell people that I don't count calories personally, you know why? Because I don't have to. I can guesstimate just by what I eat and how I feel, because I've been in touch and paying attention and fucking noticing every little nuance that my body and my feedback gives me for the past 20 years. So I know how much food I need, or I know if I need another sweet potato, or if I need to have a little bit more carbs, or if I want to eat another plate, or if I should eat another plate. Oh, I'm a little bit, bloated. Maybe let me cut back on my carbs a little bit. I can see this and check this from day to day. I know how much I need to eat to maintain. And every time I weigh myself, which might be once every year or two, I'm the same fucking weight. So I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing, and I'm doing it right. And if I really wanted specific goals, if I want to bulk up and put on 5 or 10 pounds, I know how to do that. I just don't care enough to pay that much attention right now. I got too many other things going on. And that's just an excuse. I could do it. I have a lot of things going on, but it's so far from my top priority. I just don't have I don't want to give the effort for it because I know what it takes. And a lot of people think that it's so much easier to build muscle than it is. People really, really underestimate how hard it is to build muscle. And the proof of that is the fact that people don't build a lot of muscle. Most people don't have results. Most people don't look that good. Most people don't build a lot of muscle because it takes a lot of work. It's not just having a gym membership. It's not just eating in a caloric surplus. It's not just getting sleep. It's not just hydrating. It's everything from your training program, your consistency, your effort in every fucking day, your mindset. It's obsession. It's obsession. You're not going to get great results unless you're obsessed. And if you think you can, maybe you'll get some results. Maybe you'll have some good genetics and you'll respond better. Some people respond better to weights and stuff than others. But if you're not obsessed, you're not going to get results. You have to really dig in and really be fucking invested 100%. And most people don't like to do that. Why? Because it takes a lot of your fucking focus. What's most important to you in your life? I get it. If you have a job, 2 jobs, you got a kid, 2 kids, 3 kids. Yeah, it takes a lot. So you have to really fucking want it. But think of anything else in your life that you really wanted. If you wanted it bad enough, you fucking did it, or you got it, or you saved for it. If you want it bad enough, you'll fucking go do it. And if you don't, you won't. And most people don't want to take the responsibility or hold themselves accountable enough to be like, oh shit, it's my fault. Oh shit, I'm not training that hard. Again, you can have a gym membership. Doesn't mean shit. You could buy good food. Doesn't mean shit. You still have to eat it, prepare it, do it consistently, regularly for months and years. You can go to the gym 5 days. Hey, I go to the gym 6 days a week, but I'm not losing any weight. Well, maybe you're going to the gym and reading a newspaper and on a fucking seated recumbent bike. That doesn't fucking do a damn thing. You went to the gym. Cool. You walked through a doorway. I'm super proud of you. Congratulations. That's it. Okay. Some people don't have legs, so you're lucky you're walking through a door. However, going into a gym doesn't mean you're going to fucking get results. So not only are you in there, you have to have a program and have a structure and be lifting and be overloading yourself and challenging yourself. Okay. So let's say you had an amazing workout on Monday. Let's say you fucking crushed it. You had a great workout. That's exactly how you should be training. Awesome. Tuesday comes. You got to do it again. Got to be eating right and sleeping right and this and training hard and not just the fucking exercise and not just going to the gym and being in the gym. You have to train hard. And then Wednesday comes. You got to do it again. And then again and then again and then again. Okay. Let's say you did it for a week. Cool. Now do it for 4 weeks in a row. Cool. You did it for a month. Now do it for 12 months. Now do it for 12 years. You see how that goes? It's a lot. And it's a lot of consistency. And it's never going to be perfect. But if you're relentless and ruthless enough, you'll make it happen. You'll work around it. You'll adjust. You'll adapt. You'll get better. How do you know what your genetic limit is? Is that even a thing? Yeah, it's a thing. But who gives a shit? Who cares what your genetic limit is? Fucking train. You're not there. If you're asking that question, you're not your genetic limit. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You're not going to know what your genetic limit is unless you're training super fucking hard and you're absolutely on point for, I would say, 10, 15 years easy. Maybe at least 5 to 10, if I'm being super fucking generous, at least 5 years. Bullshit. You're not going to get your genetic limit in just 5 fucking years. So it doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter if you're training hard enough to even reach your genetic limit and your genetic potential, if you're even training hard enough to even make it there and you're consistent enough and you're relentless enough, then you're not like, that's not even a question you concern yourself with, because you're going to get there eventually and you'll know. You'll be just keep on going and going. You just can't gain any more. You'll know. It starts to get uncomfortable. I hit that point. Not that I really got my complete genetic limit, but I got to the point where I was 225 pounds. Right now, I'm probably 190 to 195. I got to 225 and I had a lot more body fat, but it was just heavy. It was just no fucking way. It was too much. It was too much. So I was probably close to my genetic limit, but I wasn't doing everything perfect. I just don't have the inspiration and the desire to go back that direction now. So it doesn't even matter if I was or if I did. It just doesn't fucking matter. Doesn't matter. A guy at my gym had no legs and still killed a workout. Yeah, there's a guy at my gym that has one fucking arm and he's there every day. Every time I'm there, I see him. He's awesome. Super nice guy. Always works hard. Well, I mean, getting to your genetic limit, and we've talked about, someone asked me the other day about, hormone replacement therapy. They're like, hey, Papa, are you going to ever do TRT or hormone replacement therapy? If I go to the doctor and I get blood work done or whatever it is, or over the course of a few months or something like that, and it comes back that I'm low in my testosterone, I'm open to it. I'm open to it, not necessarily from an enhancement standpoint, but bringing it back up to normal levels. I don't think that's a bad thing. Any way to promote anti-aging, that's where science should go. We don't need to age the way that we do. Science will help us reverse and slow down the aging process more and more as technology improves. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I don't think there's anything wrong with doing hormone replacement. I mean, if you're adding more than what you would naturally have, then it's the same thing as taking anabolics. You're just adding extra. Just because you have a prescription doesn't mean that it's not enhancement. So it's like, it depends on what you want. However, if I do that, if I do that, guess what? I'll probably do a podcast about it and we'll talk about it. I'll be like, yeah, I'm 36. Okay. Maybe when I'm 40 or maybe when I'm 38 or maybe when I'm 42, I'm like, oh shit, I'm going to start doing this. I'll tell you about it. It's not like I don't have muscle already. You guys know what I have naturally. It's like, all right, it's okay. It's my choice. But I don't think anyone should be taking shit until it depends on what your goal is. And there's a high risk with all these things. And do you really need to take something when you're younger? Most people take anabolics and those things way, way too early, long before they've actually put in the kind of effort and the hard work. They don't have that foundation, which is why a lot of people, when they take it and they see some progress and they stop taking it, they lose it all, even before they reach their genetic limit because they're not training hard enough. They don't really know how to train. And if you start taking that shit before you know how to train, before you built that discipline with nutrition and consistency, scheduling, time management, it's not a wise move. It's a waste of money, health risk, and time. I have a male friend who is 27 and his test levels are so low. He got terrible advice from someone who was 17 and got on, you're not even developed until your early 20s. And got on steroids. He had to stay on them to be normal. He's never been the same. Yeah, because if you take them too long or too much and too young, it stunts your body's natural production. So then you have to take replacement the rest of your life. He just crippled himself. He made himself a 50-year-old man when he was 17. That's sad. Yeah, my birthday's in like 2 weeks. Papa Swole is going to be 36. 36. No, 36. I was going to say 35. I'm 35 now. What's up, Joe? How you doing? Christine Madrid, loved your podcast with Michelle. It would be awesome to see you guys do it again. Well, that's what the plan is. I have to check my messages. I'm planning, I'm not going to name names, but I have trying to put together an amazing podcast next week. So stay tuned for that because we got I want to do like a round table. I want to do like a few people. I want to do 2 or 3 people at the same time. That's what she said. But yeah, planning for next week. So stay tuned. Special guest tomorrow, King Darius, by the way, but also next week. I want to get something else, but I'll announce it. I'll be blasting that if it gets scheduled. I just don't want to talk and put the cart before the horse until it gets finalized. Travis, have we talked a lot about training hard enough? Yeah, I literally talked about it for the entire episode. How do you know when you've trained hard enough with your experience? In what context? How do you know you have trained hard enough or that you are training hard enough? Everyone's different. When you have things like perception, when you have how you feel, it's like asking you, well, how'd you feel today? Are you happy or are you sad? It's so subjective. If we all go see the same movie, 50% are going to like it, 50% are going to hate it. Or maybe it's 30, and then 40% are like, it's all right. So it's all subjective. So when you go to the gym, that's why when I talk about training hard enough, there isn't necessarily like an answer to that, because when I say I'm training hard, you might look and be like, oh my God, that's fucking murder. Or maybe you train harder than I do. Maybe you need to train harder than I do. Maybe you like to train harder. Maybe I just don't need to train it's all relative. What do you consider training hard? Shorter rest periods, how much you sweat, how exhausted you are. Think about that. What does it mean to train hard? So for example, if a beginner trains with me, they're going to be crippled. It's way too hard for a beginner. If I go and train with a pro bodybuilder or some of these other people, like one of these like fucking pro like CrossFit athletes, I'll be fucking murdered. Okay. It's just a whole different level. There's different genetics, there's different training experience, there's different actual applications of training. So if you're doing bodybuilding style training and yoga and stuff like that, it's totally different than metabolic training and, HIIT training and doing sprints and all this fucking like cardiovascular stress. It's completely different. And you're not going to adapt to every last little thing. So you have to pick your direction. But what's important, and I'll close with this, what's important is taking your goal and working backwards. What do you want to accomplish? There's so many people in fitness that are doing things and trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. It's like a vegan trying to force and trying to find every way to be healthy as a vegan, and they just can't take control of their health. They have a lot of health issues and, depression and stuff like that. And all they need to do is add some animal products in, but they're trying to force vegan into health. And that's not how that works. Same thing with training. You're trying to force HIIT training and this kind of group exercise class and CrossFit into a physique. Well, that's not what CrossFit's for. That's not what HIIT training is for. It's not for a physique. It's a style of training. And if you expose your body to certain types of stimuli, it's going to adapt over time because it's forced to. So if you want real results, you need to figure out what you want and then work backwards. So I'll leave you with that, and we'll talk more tomorrow. Special guest, I'll announce what time as soon as I can in my story, but I'll see you all tomorrow for 1176 of the Most Muscular Swolecast, Beardcast, Broadcast, Gamecast, Mancast, Pimpcast, Sleezecast, and Slaycast in the realm, because when I flex, you flex, we all flex our biceps. Make sure you subscribe to the Daily Swole podcast on YouTube. Go to YouTube, type in Daily Swole podcast, and make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. That way you don't miss tomorrow's episode, especially all you Instagram peeps, because I will not be live. And I'll see you tomorrow for 1176. Peace, McGeese. Deuce, Magoose. Ya boy, Papa Swolio. Out.